Right now at 5, 2 years after a Verona middle school principal dies after being hit by a car, changes begin to Fitchburg's Cyene Road. The Rock County Sheriff's Office warns the public about a new phone scam from someone pretending to be a sheriff's deputy. And Trump officials are grilled by the Senate over a journalist's inclusion in a sensitive group chat. You're watching News 3 Now at 5. Thanks for staying with us at 5, everybody. Eric Franke will be back tomorrow. There was a lot of rain this past weekend, and another soaking rain is coming. But today and tomorrow, the weather is great. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington is here with the best chance, when the best chance for the showers are.
Yeah, you bet, Susan. We got lots of rain, like you said, in the forecast. I just move over just a little bit here. If you take a look at our 7-day precipitation chances, just a little bit tonight, a little bit more Wednesday night, a little bit on Thursday. But look at Saturday, we see those bars really taking off. A washout is expected as we go Saturday. Probably have to increase Sunday's precipitation chances as well. But we'll take all that water because we are in drought conditions. Future track showing a few showers moving into the area, especially south and west of Madison as we head towards the midnight hour. We'll be keeping an eye on those. Not a lot of heavy rain expected with showers tonight. And you said it's pretty nice out there. It is nice out there. 47 as we look at our first warn weather cam over Lake Mendota. No ice out there now as we continue to warm day by day. And the winds today a little bit lighter than what they were yesterday. Planning your evening, got a nice night tonight. Clouds will fill on in, but temperatures will be very nice for this time of year. Again, just that tiny chance of a rain shower or a snow shower overnight, especially for areas south and west of Madison. But more rain moves in as early as Wednesday night. We're going to track that weather system over the weekend and show you just how much water we can expect by the time we get to Monday of next week.
All right, Alex, thank you. Construction is finally underway on Cyene Road in Fitchburg, a place that has faced criticism for its safety. Our Jalen Banks caught up with the city of Fitchburg to find out what improvements you can expect.
After years of planning, public input, concern, and one unfortunate death, construction on South Cyene Road in Fitchburg is finally underway.
The planning for the road construction project in Fitchburg started during the pandemic, with Phase 1 construction starting in 2022 and carrying over into 2023. The construction includes upgraded pedestrian crosswalks, improved bike lanes, and traffic signals at certain intersections. Now Phases 2 and 3 are underway, which includes South Cyene Road, a place that has seen tragedy in recent years, when a local educator was fatally struck by a car.
That pedestrian death really highlighted how many people actually cross Cyene Road at that point. There's a lot of apartments on the east side of the road, and there's a park and nice walking trails on the west side, so a lot of people cross there, especially with dogs.
And Kaler says the incident hit pretty close to home.
I lived in those apartments and I crossed that exact same spot when I lived there. These improvements will obviously be very nice for everyone that currently lives there, and it would have been nice to have when I lived there too.
Kaler also says resident input on overall safety played a large part into the plans of the construction.
Construction is scheduled to be completed in late August. For now, reporting in Fitchburg, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
Jalen, thank you. The city encourages people to take the detour of East Sherrill Parkway to Fish Hatchery Road and East Sherrill Parkway to County Highway MM. Police in Madison are investigating 2 shootings from yesterday. We'll start with the most recent incident that left an apartment and a car with damage. About 10:45, officers responded to shots fired on Kessel Court. They began checking the area and found a car with multiple bullet holes. A bullet also hit a nearby apartment. They collected more than 10 shell casings from the apartment building's driveway. Trump administration officials say they are cracking down on coordinated attacks on Tesla vehicles and dealerships across the country. It comes after incendiary devices were found at a Tesla showroom in Texas. No one was hurt, but the incident spooked residents.
It's horrific, horrible. I have 6 children. I mean, they're all grown in their 30s now, but I have grandchildren. What if I was up here to show them a car?
Since January, CBS News has identified at least 32 vandalism cases across 16 states impacting Tesla cars, charging stations, or dealerships. The Rock County Sheriff's Office is warning the public about a scam call. Sheriff Curtis Fell says a caller has been using different names of active deputies and supervisors to identify themselves over the phone. The scammer then asks the person to send them money to clear up a legal matter. The sheriff's office says no monetary loss has been reported so far. Residents who receive a scam call like this are being urged to report it to the Rock County Communications Center. Fallout continues from the revelation that a journalist was added to a group chat among top Trump administration officials. National security advisors were using the app Signal. But what is that? Signal is an encrypted messaging app used by journalists and government officials around the world. But cybersecurity experts say the government should look at whether the app's security threshold is actually high enough.
Using something that is more for consumers and industry may not be what they should be doing. You would think the government would have some kind of proprietary app that they would use instead.
The use of Signal is not unique to the Trump White House. The Biden administration routinely used it to discuss logistics planning. A new survey reveals that many Americans suffer from sleep apnea and are not getting the treatment that they need. That's according to the National Sleep Foundation. Nearly 90% of Americans say it is a serious condition to be treated. The report estimates about 30 million Americans suspect they have sleep apnea, but have not been officially diagnosed. And while most of the population knows that CPAP is the frontline treatment option, they aren't aware of the other options.
Things like lifestyle changes, diet, drinking behavior, smoking, exercise, surgical options, implantable medical devices. There are mandibular advancement devices.
The survey also found nearly 1/3 of people are not being currently treated for it, and only 1 in 4 Americans can identify the health consequences of untreated sleep apnea. For the first time in decades, the FDA has approved a new type of oral antibiotic for urinary tract infections. The pill will be sold under the brand name Blujepa. It's expected to be available later this year. Blujepa is approved to treat females 12 and older with uncomplicated UTIs. UTIs cause roughly 8 million emergency room visits and 100,000 hospitalizations in the U.S. each year. The nation's infrastructure report has been released. We'll show it to you. And President Trump stands behind his national security team, why lawmakers are split over the breach of military operation plans. On Wall Street today, the stock market sees a slight increase. The Dow closed up 4 points, the Nasdaq rose 83, and the S&P increased by 9 points. We'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
President Trump appears to be backing his national security team after inadvertently leaking details of a military strike to a journalist on the messaging app Signal. Some lawmakers are demanding answers. Erica Brown has more from Capitol Hill.
President Trump says he stands behind his national security team after sensitive details of a U.S. bombing attack on Houthi rebels were discussed on the messaging app Signal in a text chain that included a reporter.
We have an amazing group. Our national security now is stronger than it's ever been.
Jeffrey Goldberg, the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, was inadvertently included in the group chat.
I've never seen anything like this. I've never heard of anything quite like this.
Goldberg said military operations and their timing were discussed and said Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth shared sensitive operational details, including information about targets, weapons, and attack sequencing. Waltz defended his team's use of the Signal app and tried to point the finger back at Goldberg.
This one in particular, I've never met, don't know, never communicated with, and we are looking into and reviewing how the heck he got into this room.
On Capitol Hill, reaction appears split mostly along party lines, with Democrats sharply criticizing the leak and Republicans downplaying the significance.
Look, mistakes happen. If it was a mistake, it is what it is, and you know it won't happen again. I know that.
Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard and CIA Director John Ratcliffe were on the text chain and were already scheduled to testify at a hearing Tuesday, where Democrats demanded answers about whether classified material was shared.
I'm not going to get into the specifics.
Why are you going to get into the specifics? Is it because it's all classified?
Because this is currently under review by the National Security
Because
Council.
it's all classified? If it's not classified, share the text now.
The president says no classified material was included in the texts. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Senator Roger Wicker, the Republican chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, told CBS News his committee is considering the options as to whether hearings are needed to look into this matter. The nation's infrastructure report card is out, and it highlights a major need for improvements. The report gave the U.S. aviation system a D+. That's unchanged from 4 years ago. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is now calling for a rapid update in the country's aging air traffic control system.
Does it upset you that it takes people dying to get attention to make a change?
Somebody called it a tombstone mentality. Every regulation is written in blood, and that's not the way we should be doing things. I think that's outrageous.
Overall, the nation's infrastructure received a C. 8 of the 18 segments showed improvement, but the areas that underperformed tend to have large gaps in funding needs and also a need to build toward better resiliency against severe weather. 5 lions rescued from the war zone in Ukraine are settling into their new home in England. The animals were traumatized from all of the fighting in the war and had suffered neglect and abuse. 4 of the 5 African lions never touched grass before. Now at the UK's Big Cat Sanctuary, they're learning to relax, to play, and feast. Yuna, the lioness, who I think you saw in the picture there, is especially fond of chicken legs.
When she was originally rescued, she could barely walk. She was suffering from shell shock and concussion, and she's just come on leaps and bounds since being here at the sanctuary, and we're just so happy with her progress.
An international fundraising effort brought the lions to safety, giving them a new home around 1,500 miles away from the battlefield. What an amazing story. Well, it's a very nice day this afternoon, maybe tomorrow too, but then those April showers are in the forecast, right, Alex?
You bet they are, and we need those April showers because southern Wisconsin here, as you notice, the tan color is very widespread. That is moderate drought conditions, and we need to improve these conditions as we head towards the very important planting season, and there are other groups too that are really needing that water. We've got some water in the forecast tonight, and using Future Track here to show just a few showers, especially from areas Madison, south and east towards Janesville, and then south and west towards Platteville. Just a fleeting shower or two. Can't rule out a rumble of thunder. Can't rule out a couple of wet snowflakes as well. Then we break into partly sunny skies on Wednesday. A beautiful day before better chances for rain come in as we head towards right around 8, 9 o'clock Wednesday night. It's going to be wet out and on the patio, and I'll probably be inside then doing the weather. And this is a good chance of rain as warmer air is going to be moving towards southern Wisconsin. Best chance for that rain behind me here, and I'm not moving much here because you folks know that I threw my back out, but it's a little bit better today. But best chances for rain are going to be on Saturday with that weather system. Here's how that plays out. After a warm day on Friday, I think we'll see temperatures up near 70 with that warm front moving through. The front's going to settle back to the south as we go into Saturday. That's going to bring that colder air back in, so the rain will turn into that raw, kind of windy, cold pattern as we go Saturday into Saturday night. Widespread rain as we go into the start of Sunday. Could see a couple wet snowflakes north of Madison up towards Juneau, Adams, Marquette, and Green Lake counties. The whole weather system wraps up with a little bit of wet snow on the tail end as we go into Sunday night, going on into Monday. Not expecting accumulations of snow at this point. Most of this, if not all of it, will be in the form of water, and widespread amounts of water that we need. We have that moderate drought. We could certainly use this 3/4 of an inch of water to an inch of water, plus many areas have between a ½ inch to up to 2 inches of rain on Sunday. We'll get an update on that drought monitor, which we'll share later in this week. So this is good news for those that are seeking out that water, which we, again, desperately need. Now, tonight, temperatures upper 20s. After that shower chance early, partly cloudy skies. this is where we should be for this time of year, mind you, in the upper 20s, with highs right around 50 in Madison, a little bit warmer. How about near 60 in southwest Wisconsin over towards the Mississippi River? And that's just a hint of things to come. Those upper 50s are going to be in our forecast in the rest of southern Wisconsin as we go forth into Thursday, highs of 57. Then we do a high temperature all the way up to near 70 on Friday as that warm front lifts in. It's going to battle Lake Michigan's cool air that I've been talking about for a few days. But then as that weather system starts settling back south, Lake Michigan cool air is going to fill back in. That's going to cause our temperatures to fall Saturday going on into Sunday. And with that will be that cold, windy rain on Sunday, maybe mixed in with a little wet snow as we go on into Monday. So we'll enjoy this warm weather on the way. And I think we'll enjoy the rain too, because our farmers most certainly need that water.
That's right. It's good stuff. All right. Thank you, Alex. Well, Alex and I talked a lot this year about how we had much less snow this winter than we normally see. And scientists say climate change is actually affecting winters around the world, including in the Alps in Europe. The quaint village of Andermatt in Switzerland is exploding with development that is dependent on a robust winter sports season. But research shows that in the region, the annual mean temperature has increased 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit since 1980. And across the Alps, snowfall has decreased 34% between 1920 and 2020.
It's different, not so much the amount of rain or snow that is falling, but what is different is when it falls and how it falls.
And there's also concern in the Italian Alps, in the city of Bolzano, which is the gateway to the Dolomites. URAC Research is running climate experiments and focusing on sustainability measures. Still to come at 5, women's sports are gaining more traction. We'll take a look at a new bar in Texas putting their programs front and center.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
A new women's sports bar has opened in Austin, Texas, just in time to celebrate the Texas women's basketball team's win over Illinois. Betty Cross reports from the 1972 pub.
Guadalupe Street is now home to a first ever in Austin. Open the doors to 1972, and you'll see how women's sports are surging in popularity and viewership.
We are dedicated women's sports only, so there will be no men's sports on our televisions.
Deborah Hollum is the co-owner of the 1972 Women's Sports Pub.
We need to grow viewership. We need to show all, including men, that women's sports is entertaining.
David and Sylvia Gonzalez drove from Buda to find a pub that would guarantee they'd be able to watch the action start to finish and with the volume up.
It's about time that women have a stage in which they can really highlight themselves.
The number of women's sports bars is expected to quadruple this year across the U.S. Austin's pub is one of 3 that's already opened its doors.
We have a long way to go before we reach equality, but at least we're taking baby steps.
The name of this pub honors a pivotal year in women's sports. In 1972, Title IX was enacted, prohibiting sex discrimination in any educational program, including athletics. More than 50 years later, it's game time for this newly opened women's sports bar that's ready to chalk up some wins during March Madness.
I think the UT women will make Final Four. I'd love to see them take it all.
Betty Cross, CBS Austin News.
We'll have a final check on the weather when we return. Coming up tonight at 6, the Baraboo School District is working to pass a referendum on the ballot. We'll tell you why they're trying again after the same proposal failed in November. And finally at 5, remember the 2 otters we showed you that escaped from a zoo near Green Bay? Well, they're still on the loose. The 2 North American river otters, Louie and Ophelia, broke out during a winter storm on March 20th. They crawled through a small breach in their buried fencing. Zoo experts say the belly sliders are performing or what is that? I don't know what that word means. Anyway, the fact that they have tracks and they slide like that may be the key to finding them. But the zoo does want you to know, if you do see them, otters do not pose a threat to the public. A lot of people are rooting for the otters.
They're I was going to try to do something like Brady did in the 4 o'clock show, and it just didn't work.
Don't ever try to emulate Brady. The bar is too high. Well, nice day today. It's going to be a nice day tomorrow, too.
Yes, nice day tomorrow. Dodge a shower, but not looking widespread tomorrow, rain-wise, Susan. Most of the day is going to be sunny tomorrow after temperatures starting off where they should be, right around 30. Can't rule out a sprinkle, shower, or wet snowflake tonight, but look at our temperatures as we go on into Wednesday. They're going to, well, not the drought monitor, but we're going to go upwards of low 50s tomorrow. Here's the great example of when the graphics take over and take their own mind of their own here. But we'll be in the low 50s on Wednesday, and we have a lot of rain coming for the end of the week. So what you see here in the drought monitor, those moderate conditions, hopefully we're going to get some major improvement with what's coming.
Sounds good. Thank you, Alex. Thanks for watching, everybody. Enjoy your evening. Hope to see you back here at 6.